Hello, the 8-bit Adventure Anthology on the PS4 was released in 2017. It's also available on Steam for PC and Mac as well as the Xbox One. It contains the three NES ported Camco versions of the renowned Mac Adventure series games Shadowgate, Deja Vu, and Uninvited that originated on the Macintosh starting in 1985 and was created by ICOM Simulations. Since then, this series of point-and-click puzzlers with its first-person interface has enjoyed many ported versions on many various platforms and consoles. All three games were created using the same game engine, and up until 1988, ported versions of Mac Adventure games fell under a different name depending on the system. So there were Amiga Adventure, Atari Adventure, and PC Adventure MS-DOS logos that existed. Shadowgate came out in 1987 as the third game in the series on Macintosh, but the NES ported version was the first to be introduced to the NES in 1989. On the original black and white Macintosh version, you played as a nameless adventurer known simply as Hero. Due to this, a few of the original computer versions had a unique feature whereas after having defeated the warlock Lord Telemar, you could both name the hero to your liking and print out a certificate of completion showing you had mastered and defeated the game. It gave hints to this in the Adventurer's Guide or the instruction manual to these original Apple versions and Windows versions. If you recall back in elementary school, having gone to any scholastic book fairs perhaps, you may have picked up one of the Worlds of Power books. This book series featured stories pertaining to several NES hit games such as Castlevania 2, Wizards and Warriors, Metal Gear, Ninja Gaiden, and a few others. The series featured upside down real game solving hints at the end of some of the chapters. One of these books was titled Before Shadowgate, created by FX9. It was actually a 20-chapter unofficial prequel to Shadowgate. But as you can see, the cover, it simulates the cover of the NES version, except it's been slightly censored with no horns and a less than pointy tail. But yeah, it was created in May 1991. An unofficial prequel to the game created by Simulations. Ellen Miles is the pen name of FX9. Of course, it was written with input from some of the original creators of Shadowgate on the Apple Macintosh version, as you can see, as is acknowledged in the front of the book there. And of course, on the Game Boy Color in 1999, they released Shadowgate Classic along with the Shadowgate 64, and as part of the promo, they featured a free online reading of Before Shadowgate, but they called it a novella. And then later on, it was released on a separate website. But as you can see, this is where they got the name Jaren from the novel, and they kept it in the instruction storyline to Shadowgate 64. They also released a Shadowgate Classics comic book released online and later released with the Beyond Shadowgate, the sequel to Shadowgate. As you can see, it's got game hints, and you may recognize some of the rooms and objects here in the comics. At the back of the instruction manual for the original Macintosh and NES versions, there was a cutout order form for a $5.95 mail order hint book, with an additional $2 for posting and handling. Originally, it was free for the Mac version, but a $5 fee was later added not long after its initial release. It was also referred to as the clue sheet, the hint sheet, or the cheat sheet on the original Mac version. The NES hint book was 60 pages of featured hints and clues and 3 varying levels of usefulness to those who still wanted to preserve the mystery and fun without too many spoilers. For example, at the front of the book, they show certain rooms and the questions. They present the puzzles that you may need answers to, and they give three little coded answers underneath each one. So you simply go to the back of the book, say A10. So you go to section A and find A10, and it gives you the clue. Or you go to section B and find the B12, or go to C and find the C20, which is going to tell you the actual answer instead of giving you any clues. But that's how it was coded in levels. So, yeah, as you can see, the Mac version was created in the same specific way. So, like right here, see how that works. Go to A42, B3, and then you go to C12, and it's the actual specific answer. That's how you looked it up in the hint book there. This more recent 8-bit Adventure Anthology includes 18 all-new trophies to unlock after meeting a grisly end via certain unique deaths. The series is well known for its abundance of deaths and gruesome descriptions. The 6 trophies specific to each game, in other words, it all ends up to 666. Not sure if that was intentional, but still it seems like a beautiful thing. There's a number of fun ways to get killed in this game that won't unlock a trophy as well. 52 to be exact. The Kemco NES version cut out a handful of the deaths that were in the original, most likely to eliminate soft locking the game. In other words, it eliminated the situations that cause the game to be stuck and unwinnable, having to then start over. It did surprisingly leave a number of suicide deaths and gory descriptions, not to mention a few mentions of the word hell. Now let's discuss the main part of the game, the time torch system. Your time alive is limited and linked to maintaining a lit torch at all times. It's a total of 2 torches you can have lit, and they stay lit for about 60 moves or actions. It gives you this quick panic music when your torch begins to fizzle out, exclusively on the NES version, but it only gives a slight text warning in the original about the torch flickering, and it goes out not by the length of time gone by, but how many actions you make. So if you do too many things without lighting a fresh torch, then you'll be left in the darkness only to stumble and meet your death, or break your neck on the Mac version. In the original computer versions, this torch time limit system was more unforgiving. I always lit 2 torches, so it didn't present a huge problem for me, but the torches did go out faster, and the inventory is limited on the Mac to the total amount of items carried at one time, so that was essentially what gave the game some additional challenge back then. Some of the original instruction manuals were called the Adventurer's Guide, in which they actually did mention the torch system and about the dying torches. There's no mention in the NES instruction booklet, however. The original Mac Adventurer's Guide instruction manual also showed some shortcuts on, such as this one where you could click on that little representation of an exit and open the door using just that, like so. The NES version is the only version with music added, and that goes for all 3 games as well. So clunky sound effects is the best you'll get on the original Mac and other computer versions. A part of the appeal of this game is the witty and at times humorous descriptive text screens scattered throughout the game. Some examples are from examining the individual books on the left side of the bookcase in the library, or the mallet on the side of the boatman's gong. Looking at the dead Cyclops trying to get up the ledge here, or trying to drink the liquid in the green pot here in the laboratory. There were a small number of notable bugs on the NES version that remain to this day. Not game altering in any way, but grammatical and graphic visual errors such as the key 4 that describes a rusty lock when it's examined for some reason. It's kind of pretty weird. This says it's supposed to say this rock juts out, not just on the inside behind the waterfall there. Now here, if you have a number of 10 torches and then you light a torch, as you can see, the 0 doesn't disappear, so it looks like 90 torches. I had mistaken this for some kind of nice hack, but actually, see, yeah, I only have 80. I only have 8 instead of 80, or 9 instead of 90. So it's kind of a goof on the coding there. Stay tuned for more adventure games in this series.